Yes, come. Oh, the day. Yes, slide is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, today we will discuss. Kindly mute. Mute. So today we are going to discuss Unit 2 and the topic is education for national development. And today basically we are going to discuss these following points. What are the dimensions of national development? And what is the relation between education and national development? And that too special reference to preschool education. Further, the role of education in national development and importance of preschool education in national development. So today we are going to discuss these four topics one by one. But before going to further, I would like to anyone please take 2 or 3 minutes to describe what we have learned yesterday. Anyone please? Anyone? Just 1 or 2 minutes.
We discussed the meaning of education
Yeah.
and the writers or thinkers who gave definitions about the education, both
Okay.
Indian thinkers and Western thinkers.
Yeah.
Uh, we have also discussed the nature of education, that it is a process.
Mm.
The process is of two types, that is tripolar and bipolar.
Yeah.
We also discussed scope of education and what is who discovered this preschool education.
Yeah.
Then early childhood care and education,
Yeah.
significance of early childhood care and education.
Yeah.
We discussed briefly about the objectives and Anganwadi school.
Yeah.
Then national goals and early childhood care and education.
Yeah.
The 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Everything we just revised, I think. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Can anyone other please can describe about Montessori? What was the Montessori project and when it was started and who started with the help of whom?
Sir,
Rajesh?
it was started by Miss Maria Montessori.
Yeah.
Mariam Montessori.
Yeah.
But in India, it was started by Tarabai Modak and Bedeka,
Yeah.
Gujubai Bedeka,
Ujjwai. Yeah.
after after post independence,
Yeah.
with the
Okay.
support of Mahatma Gandhi ji.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. Means you are taking interest. My object was just to know whether you are taking interest or not. I know most of have you must have not received your study material, but although no problem, we will try to cover all the topics these counseling sessions. So today the first discussion is the dimensions of national development. You all are aware that education leads to development, brought about overall prosperity, welfare, security of the pupil, and that comes from the education. You know, the education is the key to human resource development, and it is also essential for the growth of a nation. Any nation can develop with the help, with the support of education only. If you see the example, wherever the level of education is high, then it is very true that HDI, means Human Resource Development Index of that country, will also be high. There are so many examples. The education level in US is good level. Therefore, the HDI index, Human Development Index, is also high. So basically, what is national development that we should have to discuss? Uh, what is the national development? Anybody, please? What do you mean by national development? Means it is in terms of economic, or in terms of kind of building, or roads. What it is actually? राजेश्वरी, आप सुन रहे हैं हमको? आर यू लिसनिंग? इन योर ओपिनियन, व्हाट इज नेशनल डेवलपमेंट? Please unmute yourself.
Sir, it's development of the nation.
Wait. I asked from Rajeshwari. I want to know from Rajeshwari. Each and one should interact, na? It should not be one way. Yeah. Are you not able to unmute, Rajeshwari? Okay. Any other?
Sir, it's overall prosperity, welfare, and security in a large term of a country.
Yeah. Good. Any other? Andra Mary?
It's the development of the nation.
Yeah. In term of?
Um, I don't know, sir.
Basically, national development has a wide scope. It includes economic growth, social growth, political, cultural, as well as educational. This the kind of superset of these subset means economic, social, political, cultural, and educational. If all take together, the development of all 3, 4, 5 aspects carried towards national development of any country. Even
Sir, it can also be said that to increase the standard of living of the people of the country.
yes, it comes under the social aspects, na? Yeah, okay. Any more? National development closely related to quality of life. If the country is developed, and it is very clear their quality of life comparatively with the developing country found always at good level. And other things, life expectancy, infant mortality, also depend on these factors. If the national is developed, then the country, in terms of life expectancy, infant mortality, and way of life, quality of life, it is assumed that these things will also be in good manner, in good level. And in other term, we can say the national developments is directly or indirectly linked with human development. And there is an indicator, human development index. If you see the magazines wherein written an HDI of this country is this country is of this. That also shows the development level of the country. And HDI closely linked with standard of living, health of the pupil, as well as education of the pupil. And these all these things why we are discussing, we are trying to link with education, and especially with the pre-primary education, or you must say an early childhood care education. And there are so many dimensions of national development, and they are closely relation with education, like economic dimensions, political
Cul-
dimensions,
Cultural dimensions, social
yeah, cultural dimensions, even socio-cultural dimensions. So these are the dimensions which are closely related with national development. Any other wants to add something in the national development? No. So we are going to next. We heard, listened, even read. So many philosophers said that education is the agency for social changes. How it is? How education change in social structure? How education change in political structure, economical structure? Because education changed the overall structure of the country with the help of knowledge. So cite one example. How education increased the education this economic level of the country. राजेश्वरी कुछ नहीं बताएंगे.
The literacy rate will increase, and due to that the people will be more educated, and there will be more job opportunities also due to
Exactly.
education.
Only job opportunity.
No, the progress, the country will also increase as the people will be educated, the economy also will increase.
You are in right direction, but some points are escaped by
Is
you.
it?
If the person, even a farmer is educated, then he can farm in good way.
Yes,
He can
yes,
produce more product,
yes.
more gain, है ना?
His
Or
lifestyle, living style, each and every overall development will be there,
exactly,
even of the country and even of the of the people living in the country.
yeah. It shows the progress of both individuals as well as whole as a country, as a state. Yesterday we discussed Kothari Commission. It came in 1964. He also emphasis on that particular aspect, that education make change in social structure and economic structure, and he also recommended many things based on this, because he has given more emphasis on this primary education. Can anybody tell when basic education project was started? It was started by Mahatma Gandhi ji. No. Anybody please? Basic education project.
Sir, it was started in 1937
1937. By
37
whom? By whom?
by Mahatma Gandhi.
Yeah. See, some things I may not be aware, and some things you may not be aware. My advice to make it interactive. Let me confess, I was also not aware when it was started. So I did Google. And a teacher should be kind of proactive. If you are a teacher, uh, let me take, I'm sorry that this is a fact. If you are introvert, then this profession is not good for you. You should be kind of extrovert and make it interactive. You ask some question, I will try to respond. Okay. So next, that we have discussed that education is national development. It leads towards national development. Like economics dimensions, political that we have already discussed. Social dimensions, cultural dimensions, and every country, every state need to invest in education for national development. And therefore, there are several provisions in Indian Constitution, like 21A and Article 45, even right to education, that all educate towards the need of education for national development. There are the threefold role of education in relation to social progress. One is to conserve as far as possible all the good aspects of cultural and social heritage. It's a duty of education that has to save cultural heritage. If you see the why we read history, why we read our cultural and sociological events, because these cultural and social aspects are through the study material, through the books. Even education also help to adjust the changing situations. If you are a teacher and you have been posted in kind of hilly areas, then you have to adjust that area in term of living, in term of eating habits, in term of even kind of way of teaching. I tell you one story, and this is kind of true story, my own story. I started my career as PGT mathematics, and I was posted at Himachal Pradesh, and their language was kind of Dogri or Himachali. I was not aware what students are talking to each other. I was not aware what the teachers are talking to each other. I faced the challenges to understand their local language, because without knowing their local language, I was not able to even to teach them. So kind of local language was also important to cope up the learning environment and to reach out to the learners. And third one, to create a new system of education for social progress. We, as a teacher, we should join their social activities, cultural activities, or even in school, we should promote their local folklore, dances and folklore activities. In NEP 2020, there is a provision that local social cultural heritage should also be prevented. And right now we have only two mode of instruction, either Hindi or English. But NEP 2020 has given or make provisions then teaching learning process should be initiated in their local language so that they may understand easily. Next, education help in transformation of society as given in the following points. Like education help in realizing the ideas of democracy, secularism, and national integration. Education also helps in better process of agriculture as we have already discussed. We know the agriculture, but if we are educated, then we may process better way and may product more fruits and vegetables and grains. Even in industrialization, in becoming an information based and thereafter in transiting towards the knowledge society. So education helps transformation in various ways. Education is expected to change the value system also. Although a value is inherent in every child, but the role of education to sharpen, to develop, or to bring out their attributes and traits which are inbuilt in the child through the education. Education also provides necessary training in skilling, and it's after skilling it produce the manpower which is needed for a specialized job like industrial, business, agriculture, education, and research establishment. If we see our education system, if we decided to go to the industry, then we prefer only kind of management program or kind of engineering program. If our interest in agriculture, then we do graduation in agriculture or master in agriculture. Or if we want to aware about the organic farming, there are so many programs regarding certificate organic. Even IGNOs also run very specific program at certificate level, that is certificate in organic farming. As a holistic education is considered to be an important means of assisting pupil in critical thinking and necessary for social reform. Finally, it make aware the child, even all of us, about our weakness and how to overcome them. This is the kind of role of education for the empowerment. Empowerment of whom? Human being. Let us discuss what is empowerment.
It is a process of becoming stronger or more confident.
Yeah, yeah. If I talk woman empowerment, and what does it mean? Yeah, Mandeep. Yeah, बताएं आप. मनदीप जी बोलें. प्लीज अनम्यूट.
Woman empowerment is to make a woman stronger
Hmm.
and give her confidence,
Hmm.
support her.
Yeah. And this all is possible through the education. So today we are going to cover a more lot of things. So quickly discuss these things. Empowerment include the following capability that should be inculcated by education: the ability to make decision, the ability to access the information and resource for decision making, ability to consider the range of options, what are the options and what to choose, not to choose, ability to exercise assertiveness in collective decision making, having positive thinking about the ability to make changes, ability for improving personal or collective circumstances. And next is good and ability to influence others. If you are empowered, then you have to be a kind of empowered and you can influence with your perceptions, with your ideas through the communication, education, and other engagement. Other engagement means kind of way of play, way of communicating, way of value, involving one's positive self image, involving in the growth process and change that never ending and self initiative, increasing one's ability for critical thinking. These are the attributes, these are the capability for the empowerment of the individual. And it comes from the education. What is the role of education for empowerment? The national empowerment become a reality through the attainment of following. Number one, economic development. If the economic level of country is going high or in positive, then development of science and technology. You know, we were very behind in science and technology, and there was a time when APJ Abdul Kalam and so many great scientists contributed a lot for development of this nation of India. In development of human resource, education also help in for the development of human resources. Progress of women and weaker section of society. Although we are Indian, we all are aware that from ancient, even in Treta, Dwapar, and earlier age eras, women were empowered in terms of education, in terms of their role as a leader. Education also play important role in reduction of corruption and other immoral acts and strengthening the education system. This is the next topic: empowerment and early childhood education. How early childhood education play an important role in empowerment of the nation, empowerment of the individual, empowerment of the society. As early childhood care education starts from the age of zero. You can say age of zero means a child while attending the preschool or other centers which are providing the early child care education or preschool education learn social skills while interacting with teachers and peers. Child empowered through early child care education by interaction with teachers, with their peer groups, and many plays. If you see the play, especially in preschools, which are running, walking, and kind of kho. I think kho is very popular in some schools. Preschool education and early child childhood education leads to the empowerment of all children and especially of those marginalized. And it is because of empowerment of child that national empowerment is directly related to the national development. Finally, we can say a sound education system will lead to national empowerment, and this began with the endeavor to the provide sound preschool. If the our roots is strong, means preschool education is strong, definitely the building or minars of education will be definitely strong, and which will lead towards national development. So this was the of your unit 2. This block having 5 units. Yesterday we discussed only unit 1. If anybody have any questions related to unit 2, welcome for a 1 or 2 minute. Mandeep, your hand is raised. Do you have any query? Mandeep Kaur Bhatia. Not able to unmute. Just click on the sign shows as a mic. You can write in chat box also if you have any specific query. Okay. So next topic, perspectives of preschool education. What are the perspectives of preschool education? In previous two sessions, we discussed in detail what is preschool education and what are the constitutional directions, what are the constitutional provisions, what state policy says, and what are the recommendations of previous 5-year plans. So many things we have discussed about the preschool education. In this topic, we will distinguish between the types of education, means what are the types of education and what is the significance of education for democratic society, what are the importance of education for inclusion, education for human development, significance of education for knowledge. Let us go again. So basically education has three types. Although we have discussed all three types, but today we will discuss in detail. One is formal education, second is informal education, and third is non-formal education. Can anybody please, what is formal education?
It's maybe a systematic, well-organized way of teaching.
Yeah, yeah, good.
What we study is formal education, colleges,
What we
all
studied
comes
in
in,
school, college, this is all.
that all comes under formal education.
Yes, good. And what is informal education?
Informal education is that what we study in our household or through people interaction and society,
In a society, yes, yes, in peer groups.
or through other modes of communication through TV or by hearing something, radio.
Very, very good. So what left? What is non-formal education? Anybody please, what is non-formal education?
Seminars, seminars and workshop organized.
Good. So you all are aware about all three types of education. Basically, formal education is planned, means there is a prescribed curriculum or syllabus, and it is provided by organization like school, college, institutions, and that too with some specific goals. Means, for example, if I am doing kind of BTech, then my school is defined, my syllabus is defined, my curriculum is defined, and my goal is also defined. And my goal, I want to become an engineer. So this is the kind of formal education. Formal education is also limited for a period. Means if the degree of BTech is 4-year degree, then we have to complete my degree in 4 years. IGNOU is kind of exceptional because it's provide BA, BCom, BSc minimum in 3 years and maximum in 6 years. Because this is an open university, it provides kind of liberty. Even your program having minimum duration of 1 year and maximum is 3 years. Here is also period is limited. Mean you can't go beyond the 3 years. You have to complete maximum year of 3. It also provided according to the certain set rules, regulations. It also involves systematic, planned, and guided instructions. Formal education has a well-defined and systematically organized curriculum that we have already discussed. For that formal education, teachers should be qualified, even trained, time to time, oriented, or through various kind of new technology. For example, new education policy came, then teachers are also being trained about the new education policy and their recommendations. Formal education also include the activity inside and outside the classroom. Some activities means kind of practical things, labs, and outdoor data collection. We also include in formal education because a curriculum is defined and we are doing practical and kind of collection of data in that particular framework of bounded curriculum. Even you can see the trips, educational exhibitions, educational fair, although it these all are from the outside boundary of the schools or colleges, but it comes under the formal education. As you all are aware that in the formal education there is the age specific age of admission, mode of admission, time, place. There are so many, but these are the well defined how to take admission, what is the criteria for the admission, and what is the methodology for the admission. These are all the qualities of formal education. And this is the second type of education. This is on informal education that all we have discussed. Whatever we learn from the society and incidental, it is not planned. It is spontaneous. And it is also not deliberative. It is related to basically their habits, their social etiquettes, and it comes from the society and manner, homes, community. And unlike formal education, informal education is not imparted by any specialized education like school, college, or training center. No, as we all are aware that it comes from our own society, peer group, friends, family members. Sorry, informal education may not always result in right kind of education. If we found in wrong society, then we learn wrong things. If we in good society, then we learn so many good things. Basically, informal education totally based on the environment of the child in which he or she lives. And the third is non-formal education. Non-formal education is also unstructured, without formality, but it is deliberately having some goal. In detail, I have taken one slides, one screenshot. differentiating all three types of education. Formal education comes from the place, school, college, university, polytechnic institute. Means there are so many institutions. Informal, home, family, community, peer group, library, museum, radio, television, and non-formal, adult and social education centers, seminar and workshops, open schools, in-service trainings. It all comes under the non-formal education. The next topic is education for democratic societies. What is the role of education for democratization of country, of societies? So it is clear that formal and non-formal education. Formal means through schools and colleges. Non-formal means from family, from kind of training, seminars, have a definite role in preparing citizens for democratic society. And you all are aware democracy is considered as a way of life. Independence to take judgment freely. Even kind of independence also economic, educational, political means one can choose any of the field. This is the nature of democratic country. Further education helps in imbibing the following democratic values like intellectual integrity to shift truth from falsehood and facts from propaganda. Reject fanaticism, scientific attitude of mind to think objectively and be free of unhealthy bias. And most open mind to accept new ideas. Democratic does not say that you should be closed. No, should be ready to learn new things, should be ready to accept new ideas, should be ready to analyze, investigate new knowledge and new skills. And what is the role of pre-education, preschool education in democratic society? As we have already discussed that preschool education is a kind of root of education, and the whole education system depends on the preschool education. Because in preschool education, the child learns value system, child learns kind of democratic things, means kind of sharing of things, even improvement in language. These all comes under the preschool education. So, what is the role of preschool education in democratic society? That it is early childhood education imbibes many values in the child and values needed for democracy like openness for different views, dignity of labor, cooperation, tolerance for differences, respect of all, and the like that can be cultivated through the preschool education. Democracy has also to be grounded in the way of life right from childhood, and it is a kind of endless process. As we all are aware that school and society are interlinked to give a shape to the children and encourage to work cooperatively in the group situations. These all play very important role to make a democratic society. Preschool age is the period when the child start coming out their ecocentrism, and there is a kind of transition phase. He start playing in the group. Values, respect to others, members of family and their surroundings. So every children, it is the duty of our society, our teaching fraternity, that children should also be taught their rights, what are their duties in the society. And for that, teacher needs to listen them first, encourage their participation, and don't stop the child to speak. Encourage and allow them to speak, but also teach them to listen. Listen also. So these are the important points. Play important role in preschool education and in a democratic society to build a democratic society. So this is the significance of preschool education. Although we have discussed in previous sessions, but just we are memorizing and summarizing. Preschool education help the child in their physical and motor development, in emotional development, in intellectual development, language development, social development, moral development, and aesthetic development. If you are looking my PPT and I have written activity, so one activity, we should take one activity. Let me first read the chat. Mandeep Kaur Bhatia asks, is it planned way of teaching? May be called as we teach in playway method. Yes, of course. If you are teaching the classroom as a teacher through the playway method, it is planned because you are teaching some specific topic only. You are using methodology that is playway method. Seema Kapoor is asking, is there any WhatsApp group? No, no, this is no WhatsApp group is there. You can see these videos. Uh, yeah, RS Dhillonji. RS Dhillonji, have you any query
No, sir, I am listening.
or want to share some good things to all of us? Okay, there is an activity. You are a good teacher. That we should assume that we are a good teacher. And we have a child, very innocent child. and we want to inculcate these values in the child, like physical and motor, emotional development, and what kind of activity we should play in the school, that all these traits, all these capabilities, all these qualities should develop in the child. Anyone, please? Why I am asking? Because you have to prepare kind of project in your next course, and which are also compulsory. What kind of activity you will take, or what kind of playway method you will take to inculcate these values among the child or among your students.
I think we should take different activities for each different developments.
No, no,
Like
you discuss only one activity. Give some
Sir,
to others
we
also.
can take subject enrichment activities
Yeah.
like phonics activity,
Mm-hmm.
counting,
Mm-hmm.
sing the beats,
Mm-hmm.
crawling, pattern
Mm-hmm.
walk, and all that. So the we can know the fine motor skills of a child
Yeah.
and also how much knowledge he or she has gained through this activity.
Good. Wonderful. Yeah, Mandeep Bhatia. Still are not you able to unmute yourself? Wait for a minute. Wait for a minute. Rohit is there. Can you unmute Mandeep Bhatia? Okay, no problem. Any other else?
for physical and motor development, we can give them toys to play. We can make them color, draw, jump, run, something like that.
Okay. How we can improve their handwriting? Aruna Thakur.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Uh,
please.
for handwriting, you asking, sir?
Yeah.
Yep. Sir, we can give them like clay in preschool only. We can give them crayons to
Yeah.
draw. They can draw anything. Like it's not necessarily an alphabet or anything, but that will improve their holding capacity of that pencil later on.
Exactly. First, we have to understand why handwriting is not clear, because at the childhood age, student or child is not able to hold the pencil properly. For that, we should utilize the kind of this clay or kind of other activities which are involved for the improving their holding capacity. Good, Aruna Thakur. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else or any other activity which you can do in your college, in your preschool?
So we can ask them to draw the sleeping line, standing line, curves, and
That's also good. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Rajeshwari, would you like to say something? Rajeshwari and Mandeep Bhatia is not able to unmute. I don't know what is the problem.
Not good, sorry.
Yeah, Andra Mary, would you like to add something?
So we can uh, when we teach them maths, we can give them learning materials also, so that they can learn maths through the learning objects like
Why
that.
mathematics?
Yeah,
By
when they
teaching
learn maths, we can give them
by
objects
by
to learn.
teaching math no no
Yeah,
by teaching mathematics,
yeah, yeah.
what kind of ability you are going to develop?
I think their intellectual development might get
Exactly. Yes, yes.
at that time we can give them some shapes or some shapes that can be compared, or
Okay.
objects that can be serially ordered,
Uh,
or
Oh,
we can give them some puzzle types of things.
I am giving to a child 10 rupees and asking him or her that kindly purchase things or chocolate of 5 rupees. Then what is left with him or her? So which kind of knowledge I am trying to give, or which kind of quality I am trying to develop? Is it not social?
yes, sir. It's social development. Like you're asking them to interact with the other person,
To the
and they are
shopkeeper, exactly. So not only if we are teaching mathematics, it is not only inculcating or kind of uh, producing these ability only intellectual. It is also as well as cultural also, because how to interact with their elders, how to interact with peers, how to uh, communicate with others. So by doing one activity, we can inculcate so many values among the child. Okay, good. Education is also for inclusion. Inclusion means including all. The school in the neighborhood is regarded as the first option for the admitting any exceptional or disabled child, so that these children are mainstream with those who are not exceptional and disabled. This is the kind of inclusion, means in one school, normal and little bit abnormal or little disabled, and education is same school in same place by it may be by different method, but this is the kind of inclusion, means one type of education for all. If you remember one movie, I also forget the name of movie.
It was a Tare Zami Par, some sort of movie was there.
Tare Jameen Par. Yes, it is also example of yes. And before that, one movie
Black,
was
black movie also, sir.
Yes, sir, yes.
exactly blocked. So these movies are also kind of giving examples that there should be kind of inclusion, or at least in schools, in societies, and education for inclusion also help the putting the disabled children into the mainstream of education system. And instead of separating, as we have already discussed, that it should be one school and one type of curriculum and one type of teaching methodology. There may be some specific methodology for one or two students, but if we separate the student or institutions, then they may think that they are not similar to others. So that's why the concept of inclusion have been taken, especially in education. So we should go quickly. Education for the knowledge society means knowledge management. Education plays a very important role in knowledge management. Access to new knowledge. It's provide a number of platform to access new knowledge. Innovative methods to impart new knowledge. It's also motivate the students to search the new knowledge, and you all are aware that new knowledge through visiting libraries, through visiting internet and other sources. Updating the knowledge and method of acquiring the knowledge. In this way, we can say that education create a knowledge society. If we see the third innovative method to impart new knowledge, new knowledge may comes from social media like television, computers. Although it was not in every school, but now it is being used in every preschool. Next, so this was unit 3. We should take a break 1 or 2 minutes, then we will start this unit 4. Yeah. Should we start next?
Yes, sir.
I'm sharing PPT. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in Unit 4, we will discuss importance of education, what are the aims of education, and what are the specific aim of childhood education. Although we have already discussed what are the importance of education, so we will discuss remaining two aims of education. There are various types of aims of education like education for development of individual. Education also play very important role for social development. Education also impart the knowledge. Education for earning livelihood. Education of all kind of development, especially harmonious development. Education for life skill development. Education for moral development. Moral development means kind of inculcating the values among the child. It also play an important role for the spiritual development, and we all are aware as that education also play important role for cultural development. So basically aims of education are development of various things like social, new knowledge, skills, and cognitive things, spiritual and cultural development. If we talk about early child education and what are its aims, that early childhood care education help the child to explore, to investigate, and to be creative as they have sense of wonder and amazement, and that too at very beginning level. Early childhood care education also helps the children to establish good relations with adult. Adult means they may be their father, mother, and other relative, with peer groups, and enjoy communicating with them. Early child care education also help the child for developing skills, different kind of competency, and it also help or to motivate or to encourage the students to pay the attention towards any new learning, to solve the problems with the support of and guidance of family environment, schools like preschool education, further their own learning. It also helps or provide a platform to the child where he can enjoy story, rhymes, music, or make them physically fit, independent by playing the various games which involves physical activity. The World Health Organization and UNICEF have given a list of some core sets of life skills that should inculcated in the students through early childhood education. That is decision making, problem solving, creative thinking, and critical thinking also. Effective communication, interpersonal relationship skill, self awareness, empathy, not sympathy, coping with emotions, and coping with stress. These sets of life skills identified by WHO and UNICEF jointly and list out these life skills should be inculcated through early child care education. Last but not least, in your blog there are 5 units, 4 units we have discussed. Unit 5 is nature of knowledge. What is the nature of knowledge? And in this topic, we will discuss what is the nature of knowledge. Pandya ji, what happened? Okay. Modern views on knowledge construction, appropriate strategies and method for facilitating knowledge construction in preschools, and what is the nature of preschool curriculum. All these topics we are going to discuss in this last session. I understand the 2 hours session is very lengthy and maybe tiring, but I'm happy that you all are actively involved in the this particular our counseling sessions. So the nature of knowledge, you know, knowledge is difficult to define because it's very wide. But knowledge may be considered as awareness, expertise, skills gained through education and experience. For example, if we take ice cream or ice cold, we all understand about ice and its coldness, but it comes by touching, feeling the cold. Then we generalize, yes, it is cold, and makes new meaning, analyze, judgment. Then child becomes know that this is ice because it is cold. It is kind having different feeling on hands, and if we eat, it gives other type of feelings. So all these feelings or understandings becomes knowledge. There are different types of knowledge: explicit and tacit. The first one is knowledge can be expressed through symbols, words, figures, formulas, principles, and so on. Tacit knowledge is it cannot be expressed adequately, and it is also difficult to communicate because it is kind of subjective, like values, insights. These comes second type of knowledge. There are so many other classification of knowledge. One is factual, depend on facts, conceptual, procedural, metacognitive also. So these are the nature of knowledge. What are the modern views on knowledge construction? So one is constructivism, and John Piaget was the founder. He has given his theory of assimilation and accommodation. By using the concept of schema. Anybody can anybody tell what is schema? Schema is based on learning or knowing new things. Child makes some idea or makes some figure in mind. That is called schema. Means kind of assumption of this. It is maybe if we talk the student or child, then one is having round shape, and it is very near to you, then he can make schema that he may be the kind of fan, that may be the watch, clock watch. That may be true or wrong, but he's making some figure, some idea in their mind. The second is social construct. This is also identified by Vygotsky, and he is the father of this particular constructivism, like social constructivism. Next, cooperative collaborative learning strategy. In 2008, Kumar and Nosad has given some learning techniques like promote student learning, increase student retention, enhance student satisfaction with their learning experience, help students develop skill in oral communication, develop their social skills, promote student self-esteem, help to promote positive relations. So these are seven learning techniques for cooperative learning defined by Kumar and Nosar. The next is what is learning. Before going further, I would like to ask, what is learning? Is it different from education or is it same? Or it is subset of education?
Yes, sir, it's a subset of education. By
Yes.
learning only we acquire the knowledge,
Yes.
and hence, it results in the education.
Good. Learning is intimately related to the acquisition of knowledge. Learning is the means through which we acquire not only skill and knowledge, but value, attitude, and emotional reactions. Similarly, three factors given or identified by Nosad and Kumar. There are three factors which are affect learning. Number one, psychological factor, physiological factor, and environmental factor. All three impact the learning. Psychological means interest, previous knowledge, motivation. I can give you one example. Learning can take place when a student is ready to learn. हिंदी में बताएं तो पढ़ना वाला पढ़ने को राजी हो, और उसको राजी करने के लिए मेक attentive, to make ready the child to learn. It is a duty of teacher to make them ready by using different kind of teaching methodology. As you all said that we may use the playway method. We may use different kind of activity based teaching. The next is a teacher is also ready to teach. Sometimes learner is ready to learn, but teacher is not ready to teach because of many things. Many things means teacher does not have subject command on that particular concept. Teacher may not be healthy that particular time. Teacher may have some kind of other impression on his or her mind. And third is teacher should be aware about the teaching methodology, means पढ़ाने वाले को पढ़ाने की कला आती हो. If the learner is ready to learn, teacher is ready to teach. But if the teacher is not aware about the teaching methodology, how to teach the learner, how to teach the child, how to make the classroom environment healthy, how to make interactive classroom, how to motivate the slow learner or disabled learner. So this is the duty of teacher to make learning fruitful. And one more aspect is also important. For effective learning, child should be ready to learn, teacher should be ready to teach, teacher should be aware about the teaching methodology and techniques, and there should be good environment for teaching learning process. Means if the school is situated in very highly crowded area, noise is coming, high noise is coming, then student or child may not learn properly. सो पढ़ने वाला पढ़ने को राजी हो, पढ़ाने वाला पढ़ाने को राजी हो, पढ़ाने वाले को पढ़ाने की कला आती हो, और पढ़ने और पढ़ाने के लिए एक अच्छा वातावरण, एक अच्छा एनवायरनमेंट होना चाहिए. So these four factors are important for effective learning. So NOSAD has categorized in three categories, means one is psychological, second is physiological, and third is environmental. In other ways, if we want to define the learning, then learning is a relatively permanent change in behavior due to experiences. The second is learning is a relatively permanent change in mental association due to experiences. So this is kind of what is learning. Now, what is the role of teacher? Let us discuss one by one. What is the role of teacher in learning? Anybody please, what is the role of teacher for effective learning?
Sir, first of all, the teaching technique should be very interactive and
Very good.
interesting,
Very
that
good.
the student would not get bored during the
Exactly.
lecture.
Yes.
Even small, from K to 12 standard.
Good. Any other please? आज हमारे RS ढिल्लन जी नहीं दिख रहे हैं क्या? Is he there? I seen him. Teaching should be innovative. Yes, Mandeep Kaur Bhatia. Very good. Aruna Thakur, do you have any other?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
In preschool perspective, I can say teaching should be individual, child-centric also. Like some kids need.
Exactly. Bilkul. A teacher should be aware at least name of every child. If you call a student by his or her name, then he feel proud that my teacher is know me.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. Very good. Any other?
Sir, assessing and evaluating the progress of a child.
हिलन जी आप हैं, आपको सुनने के लिए तो आई वाज काइंड ऑफ ईगर टू लिसन यू. या व्हाट इट इज?
Sir, he should evaluate the progress of a child also.
Yeah, he should evaluate the progress of child.
And do the necessary amendments afterward, because if he finds some child is not doing well, he should change his strategies
Then
and methods.
what teacher will do? What teacher will do if the student is not properly?
You can,
I must say result is not good. Then how you will tell as a teacher, or how you will try to improve?
First of all, a teacher should know the methodology he is using, and if there is any if there is need to change the methodology, he can change. He can also consult with his parents if there is any family problem, and also try to know the interest of a
Yes.
child in a particular thing.
Yes. See, Aruna Thakur has given one good example, that a teacher should be kind of personalized sometimes, not every time, but he or she should be personalized. He should give some kind of attention to the particular student or child who is not getting the proper knowledge. Okay, fine. So we should. Yeah. We are talking about the role of teacher, specifically pre-primary or preschool education. The pre-primary teacher must be equipped with the understanding of following basic principle, and that is defined by National Curriculum Framework 2005. You must be aware that what is NCF. NCF is a document which are uh, created or which is printed by or which is developed by NCRT. Are you aware what is NCF?
No, sir.
National.
Basically, this is a kind of curriculum framework, and this is 2005. And NCRT has also developed one NCF 2022. And you all are advised to visit NCRT website, and you will see the national curriculum framework based on new education policy. So NCF defined that play as the basis for learning and art as the basis for education. Means whatever activity you want to involve, that should give some kind of knowledge, some kind of learning, and also arts also be included to inculcate the new knowledge for the child. Recognition of special features of children cognitive development. The teacher should be aware what is the cognitive level of student, cognitive level of child, because he or she can give kind of special attention towards the slow learner or some student, some child who is not learning properly or he is not achieving the goals of education, or you must say the minimum level of learning. Teacher should blend of the textual, the basic literacy and numeracy. He should use the examples which can inculcate the knowledge or the learning among the students. He should be mix of formal or informal interactions. Scope of experience of both means he should be aware about his family, from which family he belongs to, what are the challenges he is facing, and he should be primacy of experience rather than expertise. He may be means if he is MSc and he is teaching the class of pre-class or primary, and he should come at the level of that particular group. He should use the methodology, he should use the activities which are useful to that particular group. Developmentally appropriate practice and flexibility means teacher should provide some flexibility also. If one student has not done his or her homework, then he should help to complete that particular activity, means kind of flexible he or she should. He should use local materials. Local material means if I talk about new education policy, that is highlighting or focusing the use of local things. Means if you are trying to teach mathematics, for example, and you are teaching in very rural background, and you should take example, and you are intent to get aware your child about the circle, then you should use the examples of their local things. You may ask, have you seen the instrument where chapati is being prepared? आपके घर में जो किचन में जो आपकी मम्मी है, जो वो एक राउंड कलर का जो शेप होता है उसके ऊपर चपाती बनाती हैं, वो आपने देखा है? आप वो एग्जाम्पल कोट कर सकते हैं. स्टूडेंट यस वो मेमोराइज करेगा. यस आई हैव सीन दैट. Then the shape of that particular things is known as circle. So teacher should use local materials, and it is the prime duty of teacher to have integration of health and well-being of the child based on inculcating the healthy habits. Gardner has defined 8 intelligences. I'm quickly reading because time is also not permitting to me go beyond. Otherwise, this will be automatically closed. The bodily, interpersonal, intrapersonal, linguistic, logical mathematics, musical, spectacle, naturalist. These are the intelligences which are defined by Gardner. So I think thank you very much to all. We will meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
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 Yeah, okay. Good day.
Thank you, sir.